Colorado's always been that way. This is an incredible place, and I really believe there's a reason in God's plan for you and me and this state. There's a reason why we have Colorado, why we have Colorado Springs, and we have so many Christian organizations here. There's something going on here. There's something important in God's plan here, and you all need to take it seriously. And I don't have it fully identified, but I know that each individual one, if we can hold each other up, hold each other together, and we can engage in the battlefield against these principalities and powers that are coming against the very foundations of our country and the very foundations of our relationship with our Creator God, that we can make a difference. And let me give you one final example in closing. My last day in the state Senate, I realized that I had never actually taken the time to walk around the Capitol and see all the monuments that sit all around the Capitol. They're in the ground, they're on benches, they're on the side of the Capitol. There are statues all around. And at the last day of a legislative session, you have time that's kind of dead time because you're waiting for the other house to bring final legislation over to you, and it just doesn't always match up. So I knew that was going to happen because I'd been there for a while. And I said, okay, well, today is my last day. I'm going to go do that. So I started around, I walked around the Capitol, and I saw that there were monuments to Pearl Harbor, there were monuments to the Korean War, World War II, to early pioneers of the state of Colorado. Oh yes, by the way, there's the Ten Commandments on the lawn of the state capitol, which of course was outlawed in 1980 because the Supreme Court actually said that my gosh, if you put the Ten Commandments in a school, children might see it and meditate upon it, and maybe what? Obey them! Oh, we can't have that. Okay, so anyway, I'm walking around the Capitol, and I come to the east side of the Capitol, and on the east side of the Capitol, there's that Civil War sentry there. You've all seen it. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's driven by it. And when you drive by it, when you're down doing Occupy Denver next weekend, you'll see that statue. You'll see that sentry guarding our state capitol. Well, I had seen it. I drove by it every single day for years. I'd never stopped to read the inscription on that statue. And I'd encourage you to do it. Take your kids to do it. And tell them the story. And tell them why it's important. On that statue, it points out the fact that Colorado became a state in 1876. What day? August 1st. That's right. Afterwards, I'll tell you the reason why we became a state on that day. But we became a territory in 1861. Became a territory very rapidly because, by golly, Colorado's a special place. We thought that from the very beginning, but we ought to be a territory, and we became a territory just like that in 1861. What happened right after we became a territory? We had fought and clawed and demanded that we become a territory of the United States of America, and a few months later, shots are fired at Fort Sumter. And the Civil War breaks out. Well, people in Colorado were upset about that because they really thought they were joining this great experiment. We had revivals in the state of Colorado that literally shut down the legislature. We have an unbelievable history of spiritual force, Christian spiritual force, in this state, where people rose up and people made a difference. And people really believed that this great experiment was worth dying for. And at that time, in 1861, there were 25,000 men, women, and children in Colorado Territory. And 4,908 volunteered to fight to protect the Union. Almost 1 in 5. Nowhere in human history will you find that large of a population that was willing to fight for anything. That's what Colorado's about, in my opinion. You look at our symbols, you look at our history, and you look at our faith. And God is always faithful to the remnant. There is a way we can heal our land. 2 Chronicles 7:14. We all know it. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face, I will hear them from heaven, and I will heal their land. That's the answer to our situation today. And we've got a lot to stand on. We've got a great history. We've got the tools. We have things like the internet. We have technology. Get into the fight. When you see something out there, stand up, speak to it. Don't sit back. Profess your faith. Profess those very foundations and the importance of the fact that if we are not on God's side, how can we expect our rights to come from God? Our rights do come from God. Don't ever forget it. And demand that the rest of our society respects that. Win the battle of ideas based on the foundational truths that founded this country and this state. Thank you.